Has there ever been a time in your life when you knew that there was a problem but you refused to address it? You ignored it because you didn't want it to be there. Perhaps no one else even knew that there was a problem because you concealed it so well. When I was about 13 years old, I became deeply depressed. It was sudden, like when a fuse decides to blow and you're plunged into immediate darkness. Spiritually, my fuse had blown. For months, I tried to convince myself that I was A-okay with God. Finally, that charade broke down, and I began to understand that I was not saved. But I didn't want anyone else to know what I was going through, so instead of resolving the issue, it became worse, getting to a point where I was crying just about every night, terrified that I was doomed for hell. I knew I needed to be saved, but I held back. Becoming a Christian for real would mean no more pretending to be one. I wanted so much to be right with God without letting anyone else know what I was going through that I tried to substitute my own righteousness. I read the Bible a lot, I gave people godly advice, and every night I sped through, and now I lay me down to sleep with as much passion and emotion as a cement block. But pretending to be a Christian doesn't get you to heaven. I tried to hide all my problems from everyone I knew and from myself. But you can't hide from God. Thankfully, God brought me to a Christian camp where I heard a sermon that changed my life. It became clear that even if the whole world knew what I had worked so hard to hide, I could not keep pretending any longer. After the sermon, the girl campers went on a hike. I walked close beside my counselor, wanting to pluck up enough courage to tell her that I wanted to ask Jesus to be my Savior. I don't remember what was said exactly, but we went off the trail together and I prayed to receive Christ as my Savior. To be honest, I didn't feel freed at first. I struggled with wondering if I was really saved. It bothered me so much that during the hike I didn't even eat any s'mores, something which anyone who knows me would realize is very unusual. Thankfully, I spoke with a godly lady that night who helped me to understand that Jesus had died for all of my sins, and if I meant it when I asked him to be my Savior, he promised he would be. That moment, when the truth broke through at camp, I can literally say is the most defining event of my life. But it was really the cap of an experience, the whole of which helped me to understand what an important thing it is to be honest with myself and others. If I had continued to believe the lie that I was all right, or continued trying to get other people to believe it, I never would have been rescued from my depression, and I never would have been saved. It can still be hard to be open with and about myself, but I realize now that I can't afford not to be. As hard as it was for me to overcome what other people would think of me, it's infinitely better than where I was before. In the words of John chapter 8, verse 32, the truth will set you free.